This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Charles, you ready for some poll mid-major rankings?
Let's jump into it. I'm interested about this. This is gonna be good.
I'm gonna give it out like this. Guess what? Not one team dropped out of polls this week. Not one team dropped out. So all the teams winning, doing well. So, but there were some teams that may have played better than others. So we do have some changes in terms of the order. So I want to see what y'all think about my changes in the order. Before this, I do want to give some love, I should say, for those receiving votes. 3 teams outside of the top 10 are receiving votes. That is West Virginia State, 2-1 overall, 1-0 in conference play, rolling, 120 points. Fort Valley State, 2-1, 2-0 in conference play, 100 in conference play, 111 points, as well as Central State, 1-1 as they move, or 1-2, I should say, and 0-1 in terms of what they got going. With that being said, let's jump into the top 7. This week at number 7, Miles Golden Bears, 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
They had that tough road loss. Just could not quite get it done. They are 1-1 in terms of their overall play in conference. They sit at 7 with 130 points. They dropped 2 slots. They do not drop out of top 7 after the big win the previous week at Alabama State, stepping up in the division and playing and giving the Golden Lions everything they wanted in that matchup. Bring us to number 6. You have none other than the Bowie State Bulldogs, 2-1 overall, 1-0 in terms of conference play. They're rolling 139 points, big victory this past Saturday. They move up 1 spot, previously in 7 with 139 points. At number 5, Allen Yellow Jackets. I want you to think about this. They're 2-0. Some will say 3-0. They had the exhibition game. So in terms of playing 3 total games, they got a huge comeback win that we all talked about on Sunday. Coming back from, 27 points in the fourth quarter to get it done. They're rolling, setting up a big matchup that we might get a chance to talk about a little later on in the show. They have 142 points, and they move up a slot, getting it done on Saturday. Bringing us to number 4 as we chop down this list. Tuskegee Golden Tigers, 3-0. 2-0 in conference play, and they're rolling. They're back in the football business. Started last year, but they come back and showing everybody that they're ready for it. They had a tremendous game against Central State that seemed to give them everything they wanted. But at home, they get it done. So the wins go to spoils. They stay at number 4 with 149 points. Number 4. This is where we see another one of the changes in the top 3 spot. At number 3, you have Virginia Union Panthers. 3-0, closer than most people may have thought in terms of the victory there.
Yeah.
Overall, 166 points, and I think cost them in terms of them falling a slot from number 2, losing a vote as well in terms of being first place in some people's minds. But there's one person that still thinks they should be number 1, and that's where they get the first place vote. But at number 2, the team that was just behind them has now slid past them. Virginia State Trojans are 3-0 as well, as the Virginia schools follow pat at the mid-major level. And they are rolling in the Northern Division, which is tough as we think it is. Sitting at 1-0. Remember, week 1, they shocked the world with Norfolk State. Norfolk State comes back the following week and gets a win against Hampton, which makes the Virginia State win even more impressive. They get a non-conference win, and then they really pound their opponent in that first conference game. So they're rolling, playing some good football. Get 1 first-place vote, jump up to a slot with 180 points. And so they're rolling. But at number 1, shouldn't surprise you, you have Benedict Tigers sitting at 3-0, 2-0, 7 first-place votes. So they gain a first-place vote this week as they continue to roll and rampage everything as they go. 7 first-place votes, as I said, 187 points. They stay at number 1. and they are rolling, as you see. The Benedict Tigers remain number one in the rankings. Add a first place vote in week number 3. This is Dr. Cavil's 2023 HBCU Mid-Major Division Football Top 7 poll rankings, week number 3. Charles, are you chomping the bit to get at it? What do you think? Where did we go wrong?
Well, I see Benedict, and like you mentioned, Benedict is rampaging. And Nias Dennis, 264 yards passing, a couple touchdowns. But, they got a road test coming October 7th when they head down to Miles. Miles is number 7. I know we got to penalize them for the loss, but that ain't a number 7 team. That's a real good football team. So already I got Benedict at Miles circled October 7th. That is going to be a fun one.
I do like that you set up the matchup. I can see that you're not green at this and you know what you're doing. I do have a question, though, for you. Previously ranked 5. How far up do you believe they should be, since you do not believe they are number 7?
The Allen win was very impressive. And I have to look on the schedule, see if there's an Allen Miles matchup. But thus far, Miles taking on 2 SWAC schools, knocking off one and coming within an eyelash of the other. Whew, I would probably have them up somewhere around 5. That's impressive.
So you'd have kept them at 5. If with the loss, respectable loss, I'll give you that on the road. Had chances to win that game. A big 4th down stop by the Golden Lions. Credit to them. Getting it done. A couple of missed field goals. Or we would be talking about something else today about how far up they should go from 5. That being said, Drew, what are your thoughts? Are you going in the same direction as Charles? Or are you going to spin it? And what else are you looking at if that's the case?
I did have one correction for you, Doc. You have Miles' conference record at 1-1. They are 1-0 in conference. They lost to UAPB. It was non-conference. Just want to make that for everybody who's out there. So Miles is 2-1, 1-0 for everybody out there. But speaking of the Miles Golden Bears, I have to concur with Charles that they are obviously the best one-loss team that we have at the Division II level. So that definitely moves them up to ahead of Bowie State. Just based on that, the fact that the loss is by 1 point to an FCS opponent. Now the question is a 2-1 Miles better than a 2-0 Allen? If you just take name value, if you take name value, yes. If you take dramatics, I don't know. That was a hell of a drama that we had on Saturday, man.
Well said.
And going with the other ones, I do agree with the flip-flopping of the Virginia teams. Now, the next question would be with that is, does Tuskegee break that Virginia stranglehold in their 2-3 slot? Because both Tuskegee and Virginia Union struggled to get victories on this past Saturday, even though they got them. So those are just a couple of questions. I don't disagree with anything, except I do bump Miles up a minimum of 1 spot, possibly 2 spots. But the other ones, we're splitting hairs with everybody behind Benedict, honestly.
Does Benedict
add something else?
Yeah, well, the question is, does Benedict get that first test this weekend on the road at Chowan?
Drew, what are your thoughts on that? He said no.
No.
Dramatic pause.
No. I don't. The thing with Shawan, a lot of the players who were there last year who would have been eligible to return left up. I can't remember what the new coach is, but Shawan does have a new coach, and just like with Albany State, a lot of the players who were there left with the coach and followed him to the new institution. He's in North Carolina. Don't remember what institution he's in, but he's still in the state of North Carolina. So giving that, this is not last year's Shawan team that we are talking about Benedict going up and facing. But this does look like a Benedict team right now through 3 games is better than last year's Benedict team. We know how special last year's Benedict team was through 3 games. So
Mhm.